my good friend Lou Gentile, who has history in law enforcement, now has a very successful firm, CSI Investigations, joining us live. Good morning, Lou. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Marty. Fine, thank you.
This is a terrorism, is it not, Lou?
Well, Marty, I've heard that term, thrown around this morning a bit. The term of urban terrorism, and I'm traveling, so I haven't had the ability to listen to the predicate to the show. But given the fact now that you threw out that term, I'd like to address that, if you will, for a couple of minutes to several audiences, similarly to what I've done in the past. The first audience, I think, what you're doing very successfully is that, as is evidenced even with the most recent killing where someone posted on their Facebook the fact that they had this hatred for African Americans, where these 3 African Americans were killed. Someone out there has seen something either through the social media or through conversation. Someone knows about what is happening out there, and someone now has the ability to report it anonymously, either because of their own moral feelings or because of a reward. The other thing that I wanted to touch upon is the fact that if in fact we are dealing with someone who perceives themselves as an urban terrorist, the fact of the matter is that if you are out there and you perceive yourself as an urban terrorist, then you should know that one thing about terrorism is that terrorists, unlike criminals, take credit for what they do. They take credit for what they do because they do it for a reason, either to provoke ideological change or to provoke political change. Whatever the reason is that you have now gained the attention of the public. So now you have the ability. You have the ability now to invoke that power and to be able to make a statement, if you choose to do so, through this radio station, who has the ability for all of Pittsburgh and most of Pennsylvania to hear, or to walk away from this as a coward. But let me capitalize on a couple other things as well. And I applaud you, whoever you are, for doing this in a nonviolent way. But let me tell you something. The fact of the matter is that if you are committing a felony, and you are by these calls, if during the commission of a felony someone dies, then you are now liable to be charged with a homicide. So someone dies in an accident. Some kid has a heart attack. Some fatality happens, and with all of these evacuations, that can happen, even if it's an accident. Now you have a homicide. Now you have the rest of your life to look over your shoulder because there is no statute of limitations for a homicide. So whoever you are, I want you to think about that. If you're doing this to disrupt the Pittsburgh Police Department, for whatever reason, maybe you had an issue with G20. Maybe it was Occupy Pittsburgh. Who knows? Maybe you have an issue with the shooting at UPMC. You may think you're disrupting the Pittsburgh Police Department, but you know what you're doing? You're causing all these officers to be able to earn a tremendous amount of overtime, which they're going to enjoy during their retirement. You may think you're causing the University of Pittsburgh, but the fact of the matter is that you're not causing any loss financially, because ultimately the taxpayers or the students, they're going to pay for it themselves. You may be a victim of bullying, but if you were a victim of being bullied, then and maybe that's the case, because I don't see a reason why you would be causing all of these dorms to evacuate. But if that's the case, then someone else is being bullied. So this is your chance to make that statement, to be able to provoke that change for whatever reason you're doing this. And maybe you were being treated unfairly by a professor. I hope it's not me. I teach there part-time at night. But if in fact you are, once again, you have to understand that every professor, including myself, you're not going to take down the university, because every thinking professor before class and after class has a contingency plan. You're not going to stop anyone from graduating. You're not going to stop anyone from taking finals, even if they have to take the finals in the grass or in the hallway. So there are a number of reasons for you, whoever you are out there, that you're doing this. And if you are, then take the opportunity now to be able to make that statement, provoke the change you want to provoke. Don't be seen as a coward. Be seen as someone now who got people's attention, had the ability to provoke change, and you have now the mouthpiece to be able to do that through, which is KDKA.
Hey, Lou, it's fascinating to me that this person has not been caught yet. does it tell you that it's somebody who's also savvy in terms of technology, sir?
Well, yeah, certainly. And you know, and with the technology we have, you know, it doesn't take, you know, a PhD graduate from CMU to be able to do that. But certainly there has to be a certain degree of knowledge in regards to technology. But it doesn't have to be someone who's a genius at it because of the ways that we have to be able to avoid detection. But I have to tell you that even though there are ways to prevent detection, there are also minds just as smart or smarter and have the ways to be able to trace the origin of these malicious calls as well. But again, I just can't emphasize the fact enough that whoever is doing this and thinks they're doing it in a nonviolent way, if in fact someone gets hurt, God forbid someone dies, now you're looking at a homicide.
It's also interesting to me, the latest tactic, Lou, it seems as if what they're trying to do is isolate buildings where there have been threats, search the buildings top to bottom, eliminate that building as high risk, and then keep it that way. So you can't bring anything in, and nobody goes in that's a stranger, so we know, regardless of whether or not you're calling into threat to that building this morning, we know that building's clean. They're trying to eliminate the threat, are they not, sir?
They're trying to eliminate the threat. I have my thoughts about that, but I'd rather not comment on that as now. But I know they're trying to eliminate the threat.
And Lou, this person, somebody could be crying out for help. Somebody could be trying to seek attention. Really no pinpoint as to the motive yet, because as you said, they have not stated their motive.
That's exactly right. And this is not a kid who just wants to cut class. No. I mean, obviously, this is not a kid who wants to cut class. You know, you don't make bomb threats on Easter morning because you want to cut class. This is a person who has a reason. This is a person or a group who has a mission. So if you have a mission, come on out and say what your mission is. You've provoked, you have ignited the attention that you want to ignite. Because there will come a point, I can tell you, there will come a point where, regardless as to whether or not there's a threat or not, there's going to come a point, as has happened throughout the country, that these threats are going to have to be ignored. And once they're ignored, you've lost your ability to make a statement.
And Lou, does it benefit this situation if the media ignores the threat, sir?
No, I don't think at this point it benefits the situation if the media ignores the threat. I think at this point the media has to serve as a conduit to reach out to this person. The media has to serve as a conduit to reach out to this person, and or to reach out to the people who may have some information about this person. Just of every college student, as I did. You know, quite frankly, in my 2 night classes at Pitt, I addressed my students and I said, listen, someone may know this, or someone who maybe caught something on their Facebook. And just as you've done, Marty, I mean, you've given people the opportunity to be able to call that in anonymously. And I'll bet that the university and the police department would make arrangements even to provide that reward anonymously if they provoke, because of someone's fear of retaliation, if someone then provided the information that led to the arrest and conviction. I know that something can be worked out. So I think the media, particularly KDKA, particularly what you're doing by providing a safe email to be able to send a message to, and a safe phone message where that person doesn't have to worry about being detected, because there's no greater chance of being detected by emailing you than someone else. That person has a message, a reason now, the ability, the conduit to get the message out as to what change you're trying to provoke. And if not, then you're just a coward, and it's going to go away anyway.
Lou Gentile, thank you, sir.
Thank you.